So in the last class, what actually we are discussing about the function concept. Let me open the file, what we have done. Okay, so we have discussed about the how to write the iterative functions, how to write the recursive function. And apart from that, we have understand the very important concept, that is the scope of the variable, nothing but the global and local variables. Okay. Any doubt, any questions related to the last classes? Okay. So let's start with the some more particular functions concepts. Okay, because most of the interviews they'll ask you the function related questions. Okay. The first question is, okay, I have already added in the task part also. Let me just open this file. Okay, so this particular question. So what you need to do here, you have to create one function and you have to pass the parameter, but you don't need to pass the argument, but you should get some particular output here. So let's do this particular task here. If I create one particular function, let's give this name as a test, and here I'm giving some particular name as a values, and here I'm going to return some particular values. So now once I run this particular test, okay, so what is happening here, I'm get one particular error. But the question is, you don't pass the if you don't pass the argument, you should not get it here. But the thing is, like when you're mentioning this particular parameter, it will accept some particular values. That's why we are mentioning the parameter here. If I pass the value, then it's fine. Here will not get any particular error. Okay, if I mention pass, you can see here you're not getting a particular error here. But what if I'm not passing the value? So how to solve this particular error? So here, what we need to do, we need to assign the fixed value here. We need to assign the fixed particular values here. So how we can assign this? While declaration also. So when you're declaring a test, and here if you're mentioning something values equals to something like high, okay, so it means this value is fixed here. And now once I return these particular values, and if I run this particular test with something like hello, so what is going to be happened here? So here hello is printing, high is not going to print. Why high is not printing here? Because it will override the value. Normally, like what will happen if I write a equals to 10, okay, if I write b equals to 20, if I write c equals to 30, okay, sorry, let it be as a equals to 10, a equals to 20, and a equals to 30. And once I print the a value, it will become 30. Why? Because what will happen? Okay, so normally if I open this particular paint, okay, so this will be your memory location. Just assume this is your memory location. And what is happening here? Here 110 value you have stored here. Okay, you have declared one particular variable as a. So once you declare a variable, the one memory location is allocated for this particular variable, and one value is stored here. Again, what we have done, you have stored 20 here. So once you store the 20, what will happen? This 20 is going to refer to this particular a variable. And what about this particular 10 value now? This 10 value is not pointing to this particular variable. So what will happen in that particular memory? Okay, in this particular memory, this particular value is going to be erased. This is going to be erased here. Okay, so this is going to be value is going to be deleted. This value is going to be deleted, and this new value is going to be stored. Now once again what you have done, you have stored, okay, one more particular value, you have stored 30 here. So now once you store the 30, it is again overwritten, and this is going to point into this particular reference. Now again what will happen? The old particular reference are going to be deleted. Is it clear? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so same thing is going to be happened here. Okay, so once you create any particular parameter, you fix some particular value, the fixed value is stored here. But once you reassign with the other another particular value here, you're passing some particular arguments. So these arguments are going to be take care of the previous particular value. Again, if I'm writing something, one more particular something like, okay, something like uh, something good day. So now good day is printing here. If I'm writing something like, I'm not writing anything, so high is printing. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, what if I wanted to pass the multiple arguments? So here, multiple. I wanted to create a function. This function should accept multiple arguments. Like print function is there. Okay. If I write print function something like hi is there, so one argument is passed. Yes, it is accepting. If I'm not passing, also it is accepting. If I'm writing two particular values, something 10, okay, something 20, something hi, okay, something hello. Okay, so now you can see here this particular function is accepting multiple arguments. So how to create these type of functions? So for that particular purpose, here we need to mention the star symbol. So just you need to create one particular function. This is my test, and just mention the star symbol. And now you can give any particular name here. Let's give this name as a values. And here I just wanted to print something, one particular message, uh, something like let's take results, something like output. Okay. And let's say I wanted to print one particular output, something like value, okay, values of 0 only. Okay. So now once I run this test, I'm going to mention something 10, 20, and 30, and here I'm getting only 10 here. Clear this point? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, just assume like I wanted to other particular value here. Okay. Send something like 1. Okay. And test something 10, 20. So you can customize your particular values. Okay. So you can see 30 is printing here. Okay. So now I'm giving you one particular research work on this, how to print all the arguments. Okay. So this is a research work. Try to do this particular function. Okay. Means all the particular arguments should be print here. Okay. Maybe you're going to use loop. Maybe you're going to use condition. I don't know. You have to research and then you have to execute this. Okay. So this will be a task for you. Now let's go with the next important concept, that is nothing but our advanced data type. Now till now we are working only with the basic data types. In the basic data types, what actually we have discussed about the integer concept, we have discussed about the float concept, string concept, and boolean concept. Now what is the concept behind of the advanced data type? So here, whenever I wanted to store, okay, multiple particular type of data in one particular variable, maybe these particular data are belongs to the same type, or maybe this particular data belongs to the different types here. Let me add these particular points. Whenever I want to store the n number of elements nothing but value or data, okay, in one variable. Or else, okay, here next point, these variables, these data or elements may belongs to same type of data, same type of data, or else these variables may belongs to mixed type of data. Mixed type of data means in one particular data set, you will be having the integer value is there, you have list value is there, sorry, you have float value is there, string value is there, boolean value also there. So means in one particular variable, you are storing n number of particular data, and these data are the combination of mixed type of data. Okay. And next thing, you want to store the duplicate data, or else you want to store, let me just write data set. Okay, you wanted to store the unique data set, depend upon the requirement. Okay. Next thing, you want to store pair data. Pair data means what? Example, name something Sachin is there. Okay, something Sanchar is, some 10 is there, 50 is something 2 is there. So this is called pair data. So whenever you wanted to store the single data set, you wanted to store the pair data set. Okay. Again, you want to handle or manipulate or work with the large data set. So then compulsory, I need to go with the advanced data types. So these advanced data types are divided into four particular categories. The first one is called list. Second one is called set, okay, or tuple. Third one is called set, and the fourth one is called dictionary. Okay. And whenever you're storing or when you're working with these particular data types, these data types again divided into two particular category. These two categories are called mutable and immutable. What is the difference between the mutable and immutable? Mutable means when you store any data set and later you want to manipulate the data, or you want to make some changes, then these data set will be called as a mutable data set. Reverse to that, whenever you create any particular data set and then you cannot able to do any type of changes. Okay, when you store the data and you can't make any changes here, then these type of data set will be called as a immutable data set. And what comes inside of the mutable data sets? List is there, okay, set is there, and dictionary is there. So these data, particular advanced data types, comes under the mutable data set. And next, tuple. Okay, tuple comes under the immutable data set. One more question: do you have a mutable immutable concept in the basic data types? By default, okay, all the basic data types are the immutable only, because these are the not data set, this is the single data only. When you're storing the single data, it is going to be overwrite. So there are no particular meaning like we are changing some particular data. When the meanings come, we are changing the data. For example, we are writing something like 10 20, okay, you are writing something like 10 20. This is actually the data set, means this data set may become 100 to 20 30. This data set may become something 10 comma 200 comma 300. Means changes are happening something. Okay, maybe it will become 10 20 30 or 40. So here 30 cannot become the 30 comma 40, right? It will become 30 comma 40, means it is a data set, not a single particular data type. Clear this point? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's go with the, in this particular class, first we will start with the list particular concept here. Okay, so let's discuss about the what is the list here. So first of all, when it's a type of advanced data types, this is the first point. Second point here is you can store n number of elements nothing but the data. Okay, and when you are storing these particular elements here, you can store mixed type of elements. Okay, there is no restrictions are there. I can store only integer, I can store only string value, I can store only floating value. So you can store mixed type of elements. Next point here, you can store duplicate values also. Means first example, you stored Sachin, again you wanted to store the Sachin, yes, you can store it. And repeat you can repeat the values n number of times. So there is a no particular restrictions are there, like I can store only 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. So then that particular values can be repeated n number of particular times. Like for example, there is one data set is there, boolean data set. So in the boolean data set, all are the true and false values will be there. Okay, something like I'm accepting one particular data where the results are going to be stored in true and false. Just assume there is a 1 lakh data set is there. Okay, and in 1 lakh, just assume there are 90,000 true values there, 10,000 some false values are there. So it means you can repeat that particular data n number of times. There will be no restrictions will be there. Next things, all the data in ordered format. Means if I wanted to fetch each and every particular data, I can easily fetch. So it will be stored one by one particular format here. Okay. And next thing, it is mutable. Means if I wanted to manipulate my particular data, if I wanted to work with my particular data, means changes are possible here. Okay. Next point, whatever the work I'm doing this particular list. So here that is called list operations. So here I can perform indexing concept. Means if I wanted to fetch the individual particular element of the given list, I can access through the indexing concept. Apart from that, we have one more concept called slicing concept, which is used to get the multiple particular elements of the given list. Next, we have concatenation concept, which is used to join the multiple particular list here. Next, we have multiplication concept, which is used to repeat any particular list n number of particular times. Next, we have packing concept, which is used to create a pack of the list. Example, biscuit packets will be there. In the biscuit packets, there is a combination of number of biscuits will be there. Similarly, list pack means it is a combination of multiple list here. Again, if requirement is not there, I wanted to unpack, yes, you can unpack the given particular list also. Apart from that, you can create the nested list also, which is called sub list, or you can say list under the list. List under the list. Okay. These are, apart from that, we have some list built-in functions are there, like how we have learned in the string concept, which is used to generate the ready-made results, So what type of ready-made results we can generate here? Example, we can add the data, we can remove the data, we can update the data, we can delete the data, uh, we can extend the data. Okay, extend that particular list also. If any numbers are there, we can perform some average, we can find out the length, we can find the maximum number, minimum numbers, we can do sorting. There are different things are there we can do using this particular list here. What about the syntax? How to store the particular string? So simple concept is there. Just you have to use one particular variable name, and then you have to give the square bracket, and then you can store data 1. This is my data 2. This is my data 3. Like this, you can store n number of particular data. Okay. Apart from this, how to store the list in different ways? Okay. So the first method is you can store the particular list direct way also, like direct assignment also you can store. You can store the particular list using the input function also, Apart from that, you can store the particular list using the comprehension concept also. Comprehension. Okay. So these are the three particular ways are there. You can create this particular list here. Okay. Let's go one by one to understand how to work with that particular list. If anything like pending, will cover into the next particular class. So let's create one particular list here. Let's take one particular variable a equals to something, and here I'm going to store 10, 20, 30. Let me store some particular decimal values, 4.56, something 7.89, and let's store some particular string value, hi, hello, some particular boolean value. Again, let's repeat some particular value. So now you can see here, if I run this particular variable perfectly, all the particular values are printing here. You can see all the values are printing, and all the values are printing the order wise. Means first I have stored 10. You can see 10 is there. Next 20 is there. 30 is there. 10.23, 4.56, 7.89. All the values are in the order wise. Okay. This is the way, like if I wanted to check what is the type of this particular variable, now you can see here it is in the list format. Clear, guys, till now? Any doubt, any questions?
No, sir.
Now if I wanted to store this particular, this is the direct way I have stored here. Now I wanted to store this particular list into the input function. So here I'm going to take one more particular variable b. In this I wanted to store this particular list, and there is a one particular function called append function. Example, this is my particular variable, okay, and if I write here a append something 100. So now you can see here, if I run a, you can see 100 is added here. Again, if I write a dot append something like, so now again I run this a, now you can see Python is added. Means one by one it is going to store the particular value. So using this particular append function, I'm going to add one by one particular values, okay, when I'm storing the data using the input function. But how it is going to work, let's write here. Okay, so storing using the input function. So first of all, I'm going to create one more particular variable as a b variable. In this particular b variable, I'm going to store my particular list. But before that, I wanted to know how many values I wanted to store. So here I'm going to ask as an input, okay, and here I'm going to write enter how many elements you want to store in list. Okay, and once I enter this, now I wanted to create one particular loop for I in range of, okay, these particular values I wanted to store, and these each and every particular values now I need to mention. Okay, so again I wanted to add the actual particular data, so this data is going to be stored inside of my b variable. So again I'm asking the same thing here. Okay, I'm going to write enter the data which you want to store. Okay, now once you enter this particular data, this data is going to be stored inside of this particular b variable, so using the append function. Okay, and once the data is stored, I just wanted to check whether this data is stored or not. So here I'm going to use the print function and print this is my particular variable. Okay, once I run this, for example, 4 data I wanted to store, let's assume 10, 20, something 30 and 40. You can see all this particular 10, 20, 30, 40 is stored here. Clear this point?
Yes, sir.
Now let's go with the comprehension concept. So how to store the data using the comprehension concept. So till now what we have done, we are using the loop here. So same loop I'm going to use inside of this particular list only. Example, here I'm going to take one more particular variable c, and here I'm going to write for I in range of values 1 to 11 I wanted to store. And then I need to pass the reference variable in the starting. What is the reference variable I have taken? I as a reference variable. And just I need to mention I, that's it. And now once I run this, you can see all the values are stored. So this is the way, this is the comprehension concept. You are running one loop, and this loop is having one reference variable name, and this reference variable name are going to be stored here. Again, from this particular variable, I wanted to store one more data. For example, d equals to, okay, like I wanted to store only even numbers only. So for I in, for example, C. Okay, from C I wanted to store, I wanted to add one condition. If this particular reference is divisible with the 2, then I wanted to store this particular reference value. So now you can see only even numbers are printed. You can write in the reverse order also, like I wanted to store odd numbers which is not equals to 0, and print E, it is storing the odd numbers. Clear this point? So here, whenever you don't wanted to write the multiple lines, if these things can be written in one line, means you can see this is the one line loop, and here also beside of them writing the condition, if it is possible, then the better way to write in the comprehension concept. Clear this point? Yes,
Yes,
no,
sir.
no. Let's go with the some particular list operations. Okay. So we have this particular multiple list is there, and if I wanted to get the index value of the given particular. So same thing, like if I'm counting from left to right, it will start from the 0 that we have already learned in the string concept. And if I'm counting from right to left, it will start from the -1 here. So if I mention a of 0, I'll get the first particular value here. Okay, it should be capital. Okay. And next, if I write -1, it will get me the last particular value here. Okay, so this is your indexing here. Same thing, you have a slicing, means if you wanted to print the multiple values here. So same thing, if I mention like I wanted to print 1 to 3 index. So here, okay, mention capital A. Let's take it as okay. So here I'm going to mention 1 to 3 index. So now you can see here 1 to 3 index are printing here. Similarly, if I write something uh, from 6, I wanted to print all the indexing. You can see from 6 all the index are printing. Okay, so this is the slicing. Slicing nothing but part of the given string, okay, which we have already done in the string concept. Next we have concatenation, same concept what we have learned in the string concept. Just assume you have one particular a1 equals to some particular list is there, something 10 and 20. Okay, you have one more a2 equals to something 30, 40 and 50, and a3 equals to something 60, 70, 80, something 90, something. Okay, now we have multiple lists are there, and if I wanted to concatenate this, for example, I wanted to add a1, a2, a3. Okay, or else I wanted to add a2 first, a3 then a1, any particular combination. You can store this also, a4 equals to something a3, a2 and a1, like this also you can store. Okay, or else you can store like this also, first a2 then a1 then a3, any particular format you can store. Okay, so this is the way, like how actually you can work with the concatenation. Simple meanings, whenever you have multiple lists are there and you wanted to join those particular list and then you wanted to store that particular list, then you can go with the concatenation. Next, you have multiplication concept is there. What is the use of the multiplication? Whenever you wanted to multiply the given list in number of particular times, you can see 2 times, 3 times, okay, 10 times. So whenever you wanted to multiply the given particular list in number of particular time, then go with the multiplication concept. Next we have pack is there, means whenever you wanted to create a pack of the given list, for example a1, a2, a3, these are the individual list is there, but if I wanted to create a pack, you can see it has become a pack of the list. Okay, again if I wanted to extract this particular list, that you can unpack, because there are 3 lists are there, you have to take 3 new more variables. Just assume x, y, z, and here I'm going to from unpack a6. So now you can see x, y, and z, these are unpacked. Clear this point? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Next thing, nested list, means whenever I wanted to store list under the list, that is called nested list. Let's take an example here. I wanted to store a7 and I'm storing 10, 20. Again, I'm storing inside of that something 100 comma 200, something 300. Again, inside of that there is a one more particular list I have added. In this I'm storing something 11, 20, 233, 44, something 55, 67. Again, I'm showing one more particular list, something 99, 98. Let's add some more particular values, something 111, something 876, and something like 5. Okay. So now you can see here there are different lists are added. Okay. So let me check brackets are closed properly. Need to close one more bracket. Let's add some code. Okay. Now, once I run this, you can see this is the actual list here which we have stored. Okay, so now you can see inside of the list there is a one more list. Inside of the list, one more list is there. Inside of the list, one more list. So this is called nested list, means list under the list. Now just assume I wanted to access any particular number. I wanted to access the number something like 99. How to access this particular 99? So now we need to calculate. Now you can see this is the zero indexing, this is the first indexing, and now this is the second indexing. If I write A7 of second indexing, now you can see all the values are printed here from this particular second. Now in the second index, you can see this is a 0, 1, 2, and now third indexing. So now what I need to do here, again A of 7, of 2, again third indexing. Now I'm inside of that particular one more nested list. Now inside of that again 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth indexing. Now again I need to mention fifth. Now I'm going to inside of the one more particular nested. Now inside of that I wanted to print the 99, means this is in the zero indexing. Clear this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the way like how you're going to access the nested list here. Creating the nested list, nothing but the list under the list, and if you wanted to access, you have to write index under the index. Okay, now next we have the list built-in functions. List built-in function means ready-made functions. Okay, now just assume we have created one particular list. Okay, in this particular list I wanted to add some particular data. So just now we have learned, right, append function is there. Using the append function I can add any particular data here. Now you can see here 100 is added here, but just assume I wanted to add the data in between 30 and 40 here. So how to add that particular point? So for that purpose we have a insert function, and here I need to mention the index value, and then I need to mention the which value I wanted to add. So index means that after the 30 means first index will become. Now just assume in this particular index I wanted to store something like, okay, 200 I wanted to store. So now you can see once I run this, now you can see 200 is added here. Just assume I wanted to remove any particular value. So simply I can use the remove function, and which value I wanted to remove. For example, 30 I wanted to, okay, 30 I wanted to remove. Now you can see here 30 is going to be removed. Or else I wanted to remove the last value. So for that purpose I can use the pop function. Okay, so now you can see here 100 is removed here. Again if I run the pop function, okay, 90 is going to be removed. Okay, if I wanted to remove the index value, for example this zero index I wanted to remove, so simply I can mention the index value 0. If I mention, then what will happen, this particular 200 is going to be removed because it is in the zero index. Just assume I wanted to extend my particular list here. Okay, just assume there already one particular A1 is there. Again, A1 I wanted to add into the A4, or else let's take A2 is there. Okay, multiple three values are there. These three values again I wanted into the A4. So how I can do this? Just you have to mention the extend, and then which value you want. For example, A2 I wanted to extend. Now you can see here A2 is going to be extended as a 340, 50. Earlier it was 70, 80 only, and now you can see again 30, 40, 50 is added here. Okay. Now if I'm removing only one value, I wanted to remove multiple values. So then I values here. Okay. So here, for example, I wanted to mention something like two particular values I wanted. I wanted to remove, just assume this 10, 20 I wanted to remove. So how to remove the 10, 20 here? Zero indexing, first indexing, and second and third. So what I need to remove? I need to remove the second and third indexing. Okay. So here 0, 1. So second will be starting. Third also means 4 I need to mention here. Okay. And now once I run this, now you can see here there is a no 10 and 20 is there. After the 40 and 50, 60 is there. Clear? Is it clear? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Next. Okay. Now after adding and removing, just assume I wanted to remove all the values at a time. Okay, you can see all the values are there. I wanted to clear. So just you can use the clear function. Now you can see all the values are cleared here. But if every time if I'm mentioning empty data set is coming, I wanted to delete permanently. So you can use the delete A. So automatically permanently it is going to be deleted. If you just use simple clear function, the data is going to remain, but variable will be available, memory location will be available. I wanted to clear all the particular completely variable and memory location, then you have to use the delete key. Okay. Now after adding and deleting, for example, individual, if I wanted to update the data, for example, A4 is there, and if you write 0 indexing, so 40 is printing here. Now I wanted to change this 40 as a 400. So simply I'll write 400. And now you can see here, it is 40 is updated with the 400. Means you are updating the data. So adding the data, updating the data, removing the specific data, removing multiple data, adding, extending multiple data, deleting the data. These things we have done. Now there are some ready-made functions are there to find out like any values are repeating how many times. So here for that purpose we have a count function is there. And if I write 40 here, so now you can see 40 is repeating only one time. If I write here 50 here, so you can see 50 is repeating two times. You can see 50 here also, 50 here also. Similarly, if I wanted to check how many elements are stored, so for that purpose we have a length function is there. If I wanted to check the maximum value, okay, so here you can see maximum value. If I wanted to check the minimum value, you will get the minimum value, minimum function. If you wanted to calculate the sum, okay, there is a sum is there. If you wanted to calculate the average, so you have to use the formula sum of the given particular variable, okay, divided by length of the variable, and then you can print the average, so you'll get the average also. Similarly, if you wanted to sort, there is a sort function is there, so simply you can write the sort function. So all the values are going to be stored in the ascending order. If I wanted to print in the reverse, you can use the reverse particular order also. Okay. If you wanted to store into the some other particular variable, simply you can take one more particular variable, B variable, and write the previous variable, same data will be copied. Or else you can use the copy function also, like a4.copy function. Alternate ways are there, you can use any particular way, same data will be copied. Or else you can use the list function also to copy, okay, same particular data will be copied. There is a no particular changes to be there. Clear this point? Any doubt, any questions? Now coming to the list related task. Okay, so now coming to the first question, what you have to do, you have to create a list using the input function, and you have to store all the elements and then print sum of the list without using the built-in function. Without using the built-in function means you can see here we have used the sum function. So don't use the sum function, use the loop and if else condition, and then print the actual particular result. Okay, this is the first task. Second task, create a list using the input function and print the highest marks, lowest marks, total marks, and average marks. Okay. Next question. Okay, create a list. Assume there are some failed students are there. Okay, and there are some total students are there. Example, total student equals to ABC XYZ, and assume in that ABC are the failed students are there. And then write one particular program using the loop and conditions. Then you will get the calculation like the past students is XYZ. So if I'm changing the names also, I should get the result according to the formula, according to your particular logic or code. Okay, and this total students and failed students should be saved using the input function. Question is clear? Next question. Store one particular list as a numbers and print the highest number using the without using the built-in function. We have already max function is there, but don't use the max function. Without using the max function, like writing the loop and condition, generate the highest number, nothing but the maximum or largest number of the given list. Same reverse to that, minimum number of the given particular list. Okay, so these are the some tasks are there. Try to complete this particular task. Okay.